this time. Hopefully, we've actually got audio this time. Sounds like we finally do. Woo! Got it working. Okay. Sorry about that. Got some egg in my face from not really realizing. I think it was trying to capture audio from someplace that wasn't actually plugged in. Like, it said that it was using a microphone attached to my camera, but I don't think there actually is a microphone on my camera. So there you go. Hopefully, we're back and you guys can actually hear me this time. All right, like I was saying, it's the weekend after Halloween, so all the stores just have candy. It's like way discounted right now. So I just went and bought a ton of candy, bought some stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to get on and hang out with you guys. I know this channel, for the most part, has been like a one-way communication thing, just me, uploading videos for you guys to watch, which is great and all, but I do want to do a little bit more of like interactive stuff. So by the way, I do want you guys to let me know if you can hear me. Somebody put something in the chat. Hopefully this is actually working out this time. I hope the audio quality is a little bit better. I know in the past I've tried to do live streams like with built-in microphones or on my phone, and I know that the audio quality kind of sucks when you do that. So hopefully using the Yeti mic, the USB mic, is going to be a little bit better. Oh my gosh, that was frustrating. So yeah, I mean, the deal is that I just kind of wanted to make this channel a little bit more interactive, so there's a little bit more back and forth. Starting with like this PB&J challenge that I posted about in the community tab a couple of days ago. And I've already gotten a couple of responses for it. So thank you guys for everyone who's already responded. I looked over some of the instructions that some folks gave me, and so far, I don't think that there's anything that I've received that would actually like result in an actual peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I could eat. So I want to up the ante a little bit and say that the first person who's able to send me some instructions that actually results in a usable, edible sandwich, I don't know, I'll have some kind of like tchotchke or prize that I can send you guys, like we'll say like a $5 Amazon gift card or something like that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to the community tab on the channel page and check out the post. It's basically just trying to send some simple instructions to an email address, steve.the.rabbit.eats@gmail.com. And I'll say that the first person who sends me like some good simple instructions to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich wins a $5 Amazon gift card. And hopefully the intention is at some point I'll like make a video trying to follow some of these instructions verbatim, exactly as they're written, and hopefully some hilarious shenanigans will ensue. So that's how that'll work. Until then, I'm gonna eat some donuts, eat some more donuts, because these things are absolutely delicious. Like I was saying, shouting into the void before you guys could actually hear me, I am pretty impressed with Walmart donuts. I didn't think Walmart was going to have such high quality baked goods, but yeah, they're pretty good. So thank you, Walmart. So I hope everybody had a good Halloween. Happy Halloween. I hope everybody was able to do some trick-or-treating if that's your thing, or hang out and hand out candies to other folks who were trick-or-treating. Maybe overindulge a little bit yourself. That's how it goes, though. And I know the last couple of weeks, I have not been able to keep up the same momentum with uploading videos to the channel that I had over the summer. And I got to say, over the summer, I just had a blast with it. Just did so many challenges, so many homemade things. Did a couple of contests. Did my first Major League Eating contest, so that was interesting. So now I'm signed up under contract with Major League Eating, so if I do any more contests, it's all going to be through those guys. Oh my gosh, these are so good. I should just stop talking, just eat donuts. Would that be all right with you guys if I just sat here and ate donuts in front of the camera? for an hour. No, back to it. So yeah, I'm with Major League Eating, so I'm not going to be doing any other like independent contests. I recently went down to Dallas, Texas, to do the tamale eating contest in Louisville, and that was my first exposure to a lot of like really high-ranking, great competitive eaters. It was just a ton of fun. Got to meet Darren Breeden, Jeff Esper, Michelle Lesko, just all these different people who are amazing people in the Major League Eating circuit and in the competitive eating community, all up. Now, unfortunately, my life has gotten kind of busy in the last couple of weeks. I recently started a new job, and I went back to school right about the same time. So it turns out when you do that, like, stuff gets busy, man. It's hard to try to keep up with this. So I haven't been able to upload videos quite as frequently as I would have liked. And, at the end of the day, like, I'm just super tired. I got to admit, I just don't have the energy to like sit down and edit a video for, 2 hours or however long it takes me to make a 10-minute video of me smashing a bunch of food or something like that. So hopefully this kind of live streams, I can do these kind of live streams a little bit more frequently because they require a lot less setup. I mean, that's generally the basic thing. I've just got to figure out some good content that's interesting that you guys might like to see. Because I can just like sit here and eat candy for an hour and chat with you guys. If that's something that you guys want to see, just let me know. Because if nothing else, man, I am great at eating sugar. So I've got so many bags of candy here. Woo! That didn't get used from Halloween. Oh my gosh. This is Kit Kats and Reese's peanut butter cups. Hey, Monotrix Wood. Hey, Rabbit. Just want to say I'm a huge fan. I assume that means say. Been watching you for over a year and a half. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks, dude. I mean, honestly, they say that you should probably do the things that you love. And I love eating giant amounts of food. And I'm just very happy to be able to like upload these things and put them on YouTube for other folks to enjoy. I've always said that I have some of the best subscribers on YouTube. Kit Kats, they're wonderful. Nice little wafer bars. But yeah, like there's so much hate and disgust and so much negativity from other YouTubers and other subscribers on other channels that like I'm just not down for that. I'm really not I try not to be a super negative guy. Like I know I can be kind of pessimistic and sarcastic every now and then, but I do try to like keep it as a pretty positive vibe on this channel. Pretty laid back. So I'm super thankful for everybody who's subscribed to this channel, and I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I don't know if I'm going to like rocket into the stratosphere, become the next, Matt Stoney or Furious Pete, one of those guys with like 10 million subscribers, but I'm here to stay because this stuff is fun, man. I just wish that I did have more time to dedicate to, editing videos and putting them out there. Maybe one of these days I'll like hire a professional editor and we'll have some higher quality, production quality videos on this channel. Oh man, Reese's peanut butter cups. They are the best. I think I've seen multiple polls and things come out in the last couple of weeks and have said that Reese's peanut butter cups are easily the best candy for Halloween. Might be the best candy, period. I mean, that combination of creamy, salty peanut butter inside of that sweet, rich chocolate. Very good. Oh my gosh. So yeah, like I was saying before, I started a new job at Microsoft. I'm working in one of their game studios at 343 Industries. So if there are any video game fans out there, you might recognize that name. Those are the guys that make the Halo franchise. And yeah, there's big new console generation coming out next year. So we're just like heads down, working our tails off to get the next Halo out on time. It's pretty interesting. It's the first time I've worked at a game studio. Ooh, got somebody else. Hey, Steve, glad to see you're doing great. Are you a coder? Yes, I am a coder. I am a software engineer. I got my degree in computer engineering from DigiPen Institute of Technology back in 2010. So it's been a while. And I've been at Microsoft for about 10 years on the platform team, doing software engineering to like make the Xbox a better console. And now this is my first time like actually making video games. It's kind of ironic that like I've been in the video game industry for over a decade now, and I've made 0 video games. So I'm super stoked to be a part of 343 Studios. Since you are an athlete, how do you feel about Eliud Kipchoge's under 2-hour marathon? Oh my gosh, that is a great question. So for folks out there who don't know, who aren't like following the long distance running world, Eliud Kipchoge is an East African runner. He is easily the best marathon runner alive, might be the best marathon runner of all time. And the record for the fastest marathon has been like creeping really close to the 2-hour level for like decades now, for a really long time. And I know Kipchoge has actually set a couple of the world records. Like he recently ran a 2:01 marathon or something like that. So he's been a part of this years-long project spearheaded by Nike to try to get somebody to run 26.2 miles in less than 2 hours, which is just mind-boggling. Like it is so fast. There are all these great videos that you can find online of people hopping onto a treadmill that's going the speed that this guy Eliud Kipchoge needed to run for 2 hours. And like they couldn't stay on the treadmill for a couple of seconds. You know, they'd get on and they'd immediately just go flying off. So seeing Eliud Kipchoge, seeing Kipchoge do that, like the dude's just on another level. Like he is completely different from anybody else who's ever been alive. And to see the amount of effort that went into that project, that it was a years-long endeavor with this huge team of people behind him. Like I thought it was amazing to see that guy cross the finish line in what was it, 1:59:42 or something like that. Like to see that 1 hour mark at the front of that timing chip. I know this probably isn't the thing that like a competitive eater or people who are fans of competitive eating might know a whole lot about or might care a whole lot about. But like to see that as a marathon runner, I thought that was amazing. I thought that was mind blowing. Like just watching that guy run for 2 hours in a video or live stream. I mean, it was like heart pounding. It was like edge of your seat. Like, oh my God, is he gonna do it? So what do I think of Eliud Kipchoge? I am so stoked to see that happen. Now, given the circumstances, the fact that he had rotating pacers and he had a pace car in front of him to make sure that he was running exactly, I think it was a 4:35 pace, if I remember right, which means 4 minutes and 35 seconds per mile, which is absurdly fast. I can run that fast for like, I don't know, 45 seconds. So, so because of that, it wasn't like an official world record, but I would be super stoked to see if Kipchoge is able to go under 2 hours at like the Olympic marathon next year, so that there can be like an official Olympic record. I think that would be awesome. I'm gonna eat some more candy. All right, Daryl Glenn says, is going to college for computer engineering and computer science pretty much identical? It really depends on the degree or not the degree. It depends on the school that you're going to. I think that some schools, there's a lot of overlap between the two degrees. Now, I went to DigiPen where the computer engineering degree is more similar to like an electrical engineering degree at a lot of other schools. So that's why right now I'm at University of Washington going for my master's in electrical engineering, because my degree that I already have is very similar to, or the classes I took were really similar to EE. So when you think of computer science, the kinds of people who take those classes are typically like web designers, game programmers, gameplay programmers, software engineers, that kind of thing. And computer engineering is a lot more about like how the hardware of a computer and the software talk to each other. So it'd be more like if you wanted to design, phone hardware, or you wanted to write drivers for your graphics card to talk to Windows or Linux or whatever. Like that's a lot more conducive to what you do with a computer engineering degree. Now, engineering, it's all like circuit analysis and maybe using some software simulation, but it is so esoteric, so abstract that most folks just don't even bother with that kind of stuff. So I am really interested in like the physics and the abstract and the really low level details of how all that stuff works. Like I have a minor in mathematics as well. So that's just kind of how my mind works. Now I am actually at a job that is more conducive of somebody who has a computer science degree, but that's how it goes. I found that like if you screw up a line of code, the turnaround to fix it is maybe an hour or two if you're recompiling like a giant code base. But if I'm designing a circuit diagram or something like that, if I screw something up, the turnaround to fix it is like a week, because I've got to redesign it and then send away the schematics and then wait for it to get prefabbed and everything. Like, I find it super interesting. I totally understand if other folks don't even care one lick about it. But yeah, that's the difference between CE and CS. How is UW doing in football? I have no idea, man. I don't follow football at all. I'm sorry. Johnny, you're going to have to ask someone else. I think that's the Huskies. Marshawn Lynch? I think that's a name. Yeah, sorry, dude. I don't follow the major sports at all. Yeah, the sports that I follow are like like Kipchoge and the Ironman triathlon, the Kona World Championships happened a couple of weeks ago. I saw that they had some crazy low times for finishers in that, which low times at Kona is like 8 hours. Ironman triathlon is an absurd sport. It's amazing. I love it though. Oh my goodness. I was thinking this was just going to be me eating a bunch of candy. I'm actually eating this a lot slower than I thought I would, but that is totally cool. I am A-okay actually talking to you guys about these things. Yeah, one of the things that I did when I was on the platform team at Microsoft, on the Xbox team, I should say. That's what we always called it internally. It's the Xbox platform. I would go to these conferences and give talks all the time. And sometimes my throat would get really super sore because I wasn't used to talking for like an hour straight. So we'll see how long I can keep that up. Hey, Johnny, is Randy Santel the same person as on YouTube? I think he does kind of put on a show for YouTube. I mean, the dude's a showman. Now, for folks that don't know, a couple of months ago, Randy Santel, biggest guy in restaurant challenges. If you don't know him, go watch some of his videos on YouTube. He's done I think 800 challenges. He's almost at 800 challenges now at different restaurants around the country and around the world. Super cool guy. So he came through Seattle a couple weeks ago, and I was stoked to be able to do a challenge with him, Katie Prittiman, and Max Carnage. It's always fun to see Katie and Max. I mean, those guys are pretty great. But yeah, Randy is just the quintessential showman. He is a big bombastic personality on camera. And then he needed a place to crash, so I offered him, my guest room. So I got to hang out with him a little bit. afterwards, and he is kind of like a quiet, like reserved guy. Like he is the nicest guy in the world. Let's see. Can you add split screen back to the new Halo? I'm counting on you. I'll try my best, man. I got to admit, I don't actually touch the code in the game too often. Like I am an expert when it comes to working on the Xbox. So most of what I'm doing at that game studio is working on the tools to like enable the other guys to make the best game ever. So I do a little bit of coding on the game, but like, for example, the last thing I did was I set up this new tool, which is pretty cool, where you plug in a keyboard and mouse into your PC while you're developing the game, whatever. And you might have the game running on your development, like Xbox console on your TV over here. And obviously your dev PC is talking with your dev console. So I set up this little program where you can like move your keyboard and mouse that's attached to your PC and it'll actually show up on the console. Not the kind of thing that's going to end up in the final product because the performance is awful. I mean, I think you can play with keyboard and mouse. I've never actually tried it, but I think if you plug in a keyboard and mouse into your Xbox, that would work. Maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, if you tried to do that over the network, like with a keyboard and mouse connected to your PC, it would just, there's no way it would work. Maybe I can, one guy suggested that I add some Easter eggs or some cheat codes into the code that only I would know about. And I could totally do that. Like, I think I could. It might be illegal, but I could like sneak in a bunny rabbit as an enemy or something like that. I don't know. Do AB, up, down, start, select, and get infinite ammo. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I've always loved video games. Like I've always, like even as a kid, my first video game console was a Super Nintendo, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. So going through high school, I remember I took this like little standardized test thing that everybody took. That was like the kind of thing that you say a little bit about yourself and it gives you back some feedback about what kind of careers that you might like to get into. And in my results, it had the list of like career paths that would be good for you. I said no applicable fields, and then everything was listed in the stuff that would not be very good for me. Or that I was not a very good fit for, So there's like education, law, medicine, and just everything was not up my alley. So I knew that I was going to go into philosophy or become a billionaire. I don't know. So, so I pursued. So I pursued my passion, which was at the time video games. And now I work in the video game industry. And ironically, all this time that I spend making video games kind of doesn't let me play as many video games as I like. But I still get to every now and then. All right, Johnny says, since you live in Washington State, are you able to cycle nowadays? I'm an avid rider here in SoCal. It's a little bit cold for riding your bike nowadays. I live in an area that's wonderful for cycling. It's a huge cycling community, lots of awesome rides. But once like mid-August hits, yeah, it's no fun to go riding outside. Like it gets kind of cold and rainy and dreary a lot. Like you can probably see in the background back here that the sun's shining today, but it was like 30, it was like 30 degrees this morning. So I did meet up with my running club, did a run this morning, but I think getting on a bike with all that wind in your face would have been a little bit too miserable for me. I'm kind of a fair weather rider. And I am way more about like the fitness aspect of it than anything else. So I don't mind going inside and sitting on a stationary bike, reading a book, or getting on a treadmill for an hour, if that helps me stay fit. I know some people are avidly against that kind of thing. It's outside or nothing, but whatever. Running on treadmills is what's allowed me to run really, really fast. Let's see. Milky Way, these midnight Milky Way bars. Manic Tricks Wood. Glad you still make videos, even though your schedule is probably loaded. How much free time do you have? Basically none. I think that I was really digging into my sleep schedule for a while. I try to work out every day. Now I'm working at a game studio, which is probably going to get even more crowded in my time as time goes on, especially next summer. But yeah, I've got almost no free time. It's kind of ridiculous. All of my free time nowadays, I just dedicate to studying. And I was hoping that I'd be able to go back to school and get like straight A's, but like there's just not enough hours in the day. I recently took my first exam, and I think I'm just starting to kind of like get back into the swing of things and figure out, how school works and what good study habits are and everything like that. My first exam, I scored a very mediocre 83%. So hopefully I can bring that up closer to 100% as time goes on, because I know that, C's and B's, like you'll get a degree with that, but I don't want that to be me. I actually want to do really well. It is kind of a niche subject area to study. So there aren't a ton of people there. There's not like a ton of competition, and it is pretty collegial. Like, I've heard at law school, it can be pretty cutthroat with people competing with each other. But, in electrical engineering, everybody's happy to learn. Everybody's happy to share and help each other out. So I'm really glad about that. Speaking of time, don't forget to fall back your clocks tonight. Yes, get an extra hour of sleep tonight. Oh my gosh, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm gonna use that extra hour. This is maybe how I'm gonna spend my extra hour, is sitting and chatting with you guys and eating a bunch of candy. Now I saw these. The pariah of the candy aisle. Nobody seems to like them. We've got some classic candy corn. These guys with brown butts, I want to say. I don't know what that's even supposed to look like. Just kind of looks like it's burnt. And candy corn pumpkins. Kind of like eating a candle. All right, Ben Hill says, "Hey, Rabbit, I met you in Milton at the Monster Mill Burger Challenge. I did the challenge with Randy. I know it's not your thing, but can you do a ground beef challenge? 4 pounds for time or max capacity?" I am really terrible at eating large quantities of meat. So I don't know if I could eat 4 pounds of beef. Ben, if you're the gentleman who was doing that challenge with Randy, it was awesome to meet you, man. I thought it was totally cool to see you guys go at it and to kind of play cameraman for Randy for a day. So if you go back and look at Randy Santel's video of at the mill in Milton. Oh my gosh, I'm starting all over the place. But if you go back and watch Randy at the mill in Milton do that challenge, first of all, one of the most delicious challenges I've ever done. Oh my gosh. It's kind of like this upscale, like gastropub style restaurant in the middle of just podunk nowhere, which is so strange. They call it downtown Seattle, like way outside of downtown. So it's amazing food. So if you ever get the chance to go by, they just do like fantastic burgers, fantastic gastropub, like snacks and eats and stuff like that. But yeah, I was the guy behind the camera. So nobody saw me on video. I think I might have been on video for like 2 seconds. But no, that was where I was able to first meet Randy. Yeah, I had a great time. So Ben, yeah, cool to meet you, dude. Ground beef challenge. It's I don't know, man. That sounds really unpleasant. Like, so we've got 8 folks watching this stream right now. If there's enough interest, I'll consider doing a ground beef challenge, but I'll add it to the docket. All right, Johnny, thanks, Rabbit, for answering my cues. You're a cool dude. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I try to be cool. Gotta leave the stream. Catch you later, Johnny. Manic Tricks. Hey, Can. Really good food and a good first challenge. Yeah, man, you crushed that thing. You did awesome for that being your first challenge. Like, at a ton of challenges, I see so many people see me, like blow through like 6 pounds of food. And normal folks will come up to me afterwards and say like, oh man, if I just starve myself for a day or two, I'm sure I could do that. It's like, oh, you have no idea. Those things are so much more difficult than they look. Oh my goodness. Like after a while, it just becomes a physics problem. Like, is the void inside of here big enough to fit more food inside of it? So yeah, Ben Hill, good job, man. You smashed that challenge. Manic Tricks. How did you learn to code? Videos or books? When I learned to code, it was back in like, let's see. Kind of aging myself with this, but I graduated high school in 2005. And I think I started fiddling around with code in like 2003. So this was before YouTube and online coding tutorials were quite as ubiquitous as they are now. So yeah, I just like had a C++ book, and that's how I learned to code. Then I discovered DigiPen, Institute of Technology in Redmond, Washington, and it's a fantastic place. Pardon me. It is a fantastic place for people to go to learn how to make games if they're self-motivated. Like, it is an awful place to go if you're the kind of person who needs, like professors and teachers to kind of force feed you food. But it's an amazing environment where, everybody has the same motivation. It's a project-based curriculum. So like just being surrounded by the same kinds of people, the same kind of mentality, doing group projects multiple times a year really launched me into understanding code a lot better. Also, how did you become a madman with the capacity of a hippo? Oh, that's a great question, actually. So I think in 2013 is probably when it all like came around. I am going to eat another donut. But in 2013 was the year that I trained to do Ironman Texas, which up to my point, I think that would have been my second full distance triathlon. I really wanted to crush it. So I was putting in tons of time training, eating like 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day of, like good, healthy food, not stuff like this. I was eating like low calorie, high nutrient density foods, tons of vegetables, tons of grains to be as healthy as I could. And I was just day after day just eating these enormous amounts of food. And at the end of the year, I realized that I could eat a whole lot. So I think that's like how I was able to like get my foot in the door in this. And then in 2014, I attempted to do my first ever restaurant challenge. If you guys remember Man vs. Food from way back in the day, he went to Hawaii for one challenge and did the, I think it's called the Mac 24/7 challenge, something like that, which is this like, dinner plate size pancake. There's a stack of 3 of them with a bunch of accoutrements on top. It's just totally over the top. And I was only able to get through like maybe half of it or 2/3 of it. It completely trashed me. No way I could do that again. But I had a lot of fun. I thought it was kind of a cool thing to do. So I just like trained and tried to become a little bit better at it. And it is like anything else. It's like, if you practice eating a lot of food, you eventually get really good at eating a lot of food. And if you do want to do it and stay like relatively healthy, then you do have to be kind of smart about it and try to eat, you know, like the low calorie density foods to fill up your stomach and work on that capacity. But also, you know, get some foods that are going to help you try to eat a little bit more quickly. And yeah, try to eat a little bit less frequently so that when you do eat, you're eating larger quantities of food at one time. So those are the couple of the like takeaways that have helped me have an enormous capacity. Because believe it or not, like this kind of stuff is not the stuff that I eat when the camera's off. I'm mostly like green smoothies and salads and vegetables kind of guy. D Lone Star 87. That's a great question. What was your worst challenge you ever completed? You have done some crazy challenging and always do awesome. Well, thanks, man. There are a couple of challenges that I've failed, so I'm not unbeatable, that's for sure. And oh my goodness, when I was in Louisville, I was able to eat 59 tamales at that tamale eating contest, and to see Jeff Esper eat, I think almost 100. Like he ate like 98 or something. Like, oh my goodness, it's just so absurd. Like there are some, like I'm pretty good at this, but there are some guys who are just on another plane of existence. Oh my goodness. The worst challenge that I've ever done. I'm gonna take a two-pronged approach at this. I'll say that one of the worst challenges I've ever done. So I did a live stream a couple of months ago with Katie Pritterman. If you don't know her channel, you should definitely check her out. She does a lot of really great like spicy challenges. She's been doing a lot of spicy challenges lately. You can find her Beyond Seattle Eats. I'll give her YouTube channel a plug there. But yeah, she's another person from around the area. So we've gotten together and done a couple of challenges. And one that we did together was at the Wing Dome, just outside of Seattle, where they have what they call 7 deadly wings. And that was an excruciating challenge. Like I am not the kind of guy who's going to eat super spicy foods. It was awesome to do a live stream with Katie and to meet her. But oh my goodness, that challenge, oh my gosh, that my stomach was in knots. Like it felt like I had eaten glass like later that day. It was so excruciating. Oh man. Like I don't know if I can suggest anybody do those spicy challenges. I guess some people are real pepperheads and are able to handle that. Like Katie handled that stuff 10 times better than me. So good on her. She's awesome. She's a rock star. Let's see, something else. I'm trying to think of some like really crummy challenge that I've done in the past. I don't know. That's tough. I mean, like homemade challenges. I did one that was the world's most sour drink, where I just took a bunch of lemon juice and added some citric acid, some pure citric acid flavor to it, or some pure citric acid powder, more likely to it. And that was one that after I drank it, I immediately knew that that stuff did not want to be in me for much longer. Like felt like I had just swallowed some acid. It was burning a hole in my stomach. But for restaurant challenges, I don't know. I mean, there's some out there that are just like so generic. They're so boring. Like I'm thinking of this place in Linwood, Washington. I cannot remember the name of the place that has a burger challenge. And it was obvious that their hamburgers were just like frozen patties, just regular frozen patties from the grocery store. And their challenge was just like a stack of 9 of them with some chili on the side of it, which ended up being like a can of beans and one of their frozen patties cooked and like chopped up and put inside of it. It's just really mediocre food. So there are some out there that I can't recommend. But, you know, something like the Mill at Milton, awesome challenge, awesome restaurant. Sam's Tavern is another one. They got a couple locations in the Seattle area. They've got this great challenge where they have a list of amazing burgers on their menu, and you just choose 4 of them and eat them. And they're all gourmet burgers. You can tell that those guys take a lot of pride and put a lot of passion in their food. It's an amazing challenge. The ones that I did down in Louisville, Let's see, I did 2 challenges while I was down there. Both of them ended up being amazing challenges. I was so glad to do both of them. I think downtown Philly was when I walked into that downtown Philly restaurant. I was kind of like, "Is this the right place?" Because it kind of looked like this rundown, like divey kind of place, like not the kind of place that you want to go to. But it ended up that the manager was there. Was a really cool guy. We got to talking. The food that they make was all amazing. And then again, I went to now I can't remember the name of it. Somebody's burger joint. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that restaurant. I can't remember the name of it. It's Kenny's Burger Joint, maybe. That sounds right. Kenny's Burger Joint. And again, those guys just made this masterpiece of like a 7-pound burger that was on a giant ciabatta bread bun, and you could tell that it was all like hand-formed beef patties with this amazing marinara sauce on it, and just everything you could tell top to bottom was homemade. Nothing was store-bought. So that's another one, Kenny's Burger Joint. And I think there's also a Kenny's Pizza Joint down there if you're ever in the Dallas area. They also do a pizza challenge, which if I'm ever back in the Dallas area, I'm definitely going to check those 2 out. Mm. All right, I've been falling behind on some of these comments. Let's see. Ben Hill, I can eat lots of meat, but I don't get how you eat all those sweets. I ate 12 Krispy Kreme donuts once, and I felt terrible, major headache. How do you process all that sugar? It's the long distance running, man. Like I burn a ton of sugar and a ton of glycogen. I do so much cardio exercise that my body is just able to burn through it all. I mean, I could get the like physiology of it and talk about how if you deplete all of your glycogen, then you're able to eat up like 500 grams of carbohydrate, and it won't affect you too much. If you go over that limit, that's when your body starts to get a pretty bad insulin response and starts to pack it on as adipose tissue. And there is kind of like this idea of a mix of different carbohydrates where if you eat too much fructose, that tends to get stored as fat or stored as glycogen, preferentially. But if you eat something like glucose or starches, those tend to get metabolized as ATP and as energy preferentially. So there is, and of course, not mixing the fats and sugars too much is another good thing to keep in mind, like not doing too much saturated fat alongside your sugar, which this is like the worst thing you could possibly do. And then lastly, I don't actually do this kind of stuff too often. So, saving your sugar time for every once in a while, or just for the times when you're working out, like that's how I'm able to handle it. My pain tolerance is on another level. I couldn't live your life and continue. I don't know, man. I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to some things. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I'm great at dealing with some kinds of stress and pain, and really awful when it comes to other kinds. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't bike out when it's cold because I absolutely hate cold. I hate being cold. I tend to run cold. I get hypothermia very easily. I've actually had to drop out of a couple of triathlons because of hypothermia, because the water was just too cold. So yeah, I can deal with some kinds of pains, but not others. Wow, your drink sounds like torture. Instant poor choice, LOL. Yeah, that was a pretty bad choice. I was trying to remake something that Furious Pete did, and I think I should have just done my own thing. I should not be copying other people. That must be so disappointing when you do a challenge and it's bad food. I don't know, man. I mean, like, it doesn't matter how good the food is. After you've eaten like 8 pounds of it, it's not going to be very enjoyable. I'm going to be honest. Like, most of these challenges are pretty unenjoyable for the last, like 25% of them. So it is really more about like turning off your brain and just realizing that you need to kind of mechanically keep on shoving food into your mouth and chewing and swallowing and become a robot, kind of thing. And just turn off your emotions I think getting a little bit into the like Stoic philosophy side of things probably helps out a little bit with that. Gab Central, diabetes. Thanks, dude. Actually, my father's a doctor of endocrinology, so I know a little bit about diabetes and thyroid, pituitary gland function, that kind of thing. Johnny Styles, hey, Steve the Rabbit, how are you? I'm doing great, Johnny. It's great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you through the live stream. Best Halloween candy, in my opinion, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I think it's the best candy ever. I went to the store and picked up like 7 of these bags because, again, candy's on sale because it's right after Halloween. And yeah, I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Peanut butter and chocolate, it's the great thing ever. The greatest thing ever. Gap Control, your last upload of you sitting on the floor with donuts was awkward. Find a table or something like that. Dude, I wish I had a table. Like that was, I was staying in the cheapest hotel I could possibly find in the Dallas area. And there was literally nothing in that room. Like it was a pair of beds and a couple of chairs, and that was it. So that was me doing the best I could with what I had. Like, it was Dallas. It was like 95 degrees or something. If it wasn't so dang hot, I probably would have gone outside and done that video poolside. Let's see. Random question. I'm your first 10K. Oh, I'm doing my first 10K trail run Spartan race in New Jersey tomorrow. Any tips? I know you're a runner. Any tips? Let's see. In New Jersey, I don't know what the conditions are going to be like in there. I will say that if you've trained for it, the hardest part of those races and the most excruciating part of those races is like the hour before the race. Like once the gun goes off and everyone starts running, like it'll just click in your head like, oh, I'm just running. This is the thing that I do and I'm good at. So I'd say, especially if you're doing a Spartan race, I don't know if you're doing like a Spartan Super or if you're doing one of the 10K trail runs. That's what it sounds like. You're just going to be doing the running. Like, don't be intimidated by those guys. I think Spartan does kind of a bad job with their marketing. Kind of make it out to be the thing that like super hardcore, awesome, righteous dudes do, and you can only do it if you're awesome and tough and rah. And no, it's don't take it too seriously. Like, it's just a bunch of grown-ups playing in the mud. So. If I was going to give you some last minute tips, yeah, that would be it. Just like relax. Just don't take it too seriously. Hypothermia must be pretty painful? ? Hypothermia is incredibly strange. The first triathlon that I ever did, I got a DNF. I think I've told this story before in like a Q&A podcast or a Q&A video, something along those lines. But the first triathlon I ever did, I got a DNF because the water was excruciatingly cold. It was so cold. I actually blacked out right at the edge of the water right before the finish of the swim. And my like last clear memory of it is kind of like swimming up to the shore. And then my next clear memory is getting pulled into the back of this ambulance by a couple of EMTs. From hypothermia. They put a thermometer in me and I was like 86 degrees or something. Like I was dangerously cold. And it was a very bizarre out-of-body experience. Like I can imagine that it's similar to what, like an LSD trip or something like that, or getting super drunk or high, it feels like. So yeah, hypothermia, like the experience of hypothermia is very strange in that it's like an out-of-body experience. Like I remember feeling like I was watching things on a television as opposed to like living them and experiencing them. And then as my body started to warm up, that is definitely when the pain starts to come. At that time, I remember after I started to warm up a little bit, I had these full body, like racking, spasming, shivering, like not kind of like, ooh, I'm shaking a little bit, my teeth are chattering, but like seizing up, like every single muscle in my entire body was firing and relaxing, just like 100 times a minute. And it was extraordinarily painful. Like I felt like I had gone through just the hardest whole body workout ever just from shivering. It was it was pretty bad. Yeah, if you ever think about doing some cold water swimming, do your research because it's pretty unpleasant if you do it improperly. Nice, a fellow cyclist. What kind of bikes do you have? I'm a roadie. I used to do mountain biking, but nowadays I've got a road bike. Yeah, I briefly owned a triathlon, like a time trial bike, but I only used it, I think, in 2 triathlons, maybe 2 or 3. And every other triathlon and race that I've ever done has just been on a road bike. So I'm a roadie. That's what I do. Worst Halloween candy? Question mark? You know, I might have to refer to the Good Mythical Morning guys. They did an awesome job of paring down what the worst Halloween candy was last year. I think it was last year. And they determined that candy corn was the worst. I might agree. No, it wasn't candy corn. It was Necco wafers, something like that. Which I actually like Necco wafers. I think they're pretty good. So I kind of disagree with that one. Candy corn's got to be up there because it's pretty mediocre. Any other candy I just don't like? Pop Rocks? Does that count? Is that a Halloween candy? I don't know. It's a candy. I don't like Pop Rocks, so I'm going to go with that one. That was one of my favorite videos of you on the floor, lol. Yeah, I think the biggest challenge of that video was sitting cross-legged on that floor for an hour. Like, I'm an old man. I'm not a young guy anymore. You know, I'm in my 30s. So I can't sit like that. And it took me a couple of minutes to like stand up and stretch out after that video. Do you live in your house? And when's the house tour? This is my townhouse. It's kind of, it's got the word house in the name, but it's technically a condominium. So yes, I do own this place. Yeah, you guys can see this room. There's a couple of other rooms that are very similar. It's not a super interesting house. I am not like a rich guy, live in a luxury place or anything like that. I'm a pretty humble Spartan guy. So I could give you a tour of the house, but it would just show you how pitiful it is. Produce Nut Pills says, how do you do cold water swimming properly? Or how do you do cold swimming properly? A good wetsuit. You can do some cold acclimation training. You know, exposing yourself to cold water and cold conditions for very short periods of time, and that'll build up your resilience to it. Like anything else, it's just like you experience it a little bit, and you get better at dealing with it. Again, I could go into the physiology of it, of like the production of heat shock proteins and the mammalian dive reflex and stress response and all that. But suffice to say that if you get into water that's really cold periodically, that'll build up your resilience to it. And the one thing that a lot of folks don't realize about cold water is that like water saps heat from your body so much more quickly than just cold air does. Like if you go outside and it was 50 degrees outside and you're wearing, shorts, shoes, and nothing else, you might say like, ooh, it's a little bit chilly. But if you jumped into cold water that was 50 degrees, you would think you were dying. Like it would feel like hot, like you're being wrapped in hot pokers or something like that. Like it is extraordinarily painful to jump in water that's that cold. So yeah, the heat capacity of water is very high. So it'll sap your body heat so much more quickly. And that's why, like if you go overboard on a boat in Alaska, like you're in big trouble. Pardon me. Gab Central, Good and Plenty. Man, that is a great candidate for worst candy ever. I think Good and Plenty is pretty awful. Oh my gosh. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap this up pretty soon, a couple more minutes. It was awesome to be able to do this live stream and chat with some of you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to do this kind of thing a little bit more in the future And I do want to say one more time, I got this PB&J challenge thing going. So if you guys aren't familiar with it, I put up a community post asking for like brief instructions of how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I've already gotten a couple of submissions, but after reading through the instructions, if I followed them verbatim, I don't think I would end up with a sandwich with any of them. So I'm going to put a stake in the ground and say, I'll send a $5 gift card, $5 Amazon gift card for anyone, the first person who's able to send me like detailed instructions of how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, this is the kind of thing that sounds super simple, but it's a little bit more nuanced than you might think it is. This was inspired by computer programming, my background in computer programming, because I know that computers, the great thing about them is they do everything that you tell them to do. The caveat to that is that they do everything you tell them to do exactly how you tell them to do it. So the idea is to try to get some inspiration from some guys to see who can write like the most precise and most accurate instructions to do something very simple like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Pardon me. So yeah, if you didn't get the email, it's steve.the.rabbit.eats@gmail.com. And yeah. Probably shouldn't have crammed that donut in my mouth before I finished my thought, but yeah, if you send me some instructions, I'll look them over. Just put PB&J in the subject line. Yeah, great. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I'm so grateful for all of my subscribers. All of you guys are awesome. And one last thing from Darnell, I said, hey, Rabbit, I am actually trying to get a coding job. What project did you do to get a leg up? I went to school, man. That's what I did. Let's see, if you're trying to get a coding job, I'm probably not the best preference for that. I don't know what a good way to get started would be other than to go to school, because I did it a very typical way. I know that making emulators is a pretty popular like first thing to do. You can find tons of information about like a Nintendo Entertainment System or a Game Boy or something like that, how the memory is all laid out. So if I was gonna say one project that you might tackle, that one might be a good one to look at. Writing an emulator. I don't know how difficult it would be depending on what kind of language that you're doing. I do all of my programming in C++ and C#. So writing an emulator in that is mainly just, reading the instructions and kind of writing out the rote code. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it quits there, guys. It's awesome to see everybody. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope that you stick around to enjoy videos in the future. I'm going to do my best to try to keep on uploading videos. I'm probably not going to do as many Major League Eating events as I was hoping to originally, but next year we'll see how my schedule turns out. I do want to get out and do a couple more events. I know for sure that I'm going to Coney Island. Like, I secured that spot, and I'm going to make use of it. Gosh darn it! So that's something that we can all look forward to. And until next time, I'm going to say peace out. I'm so grateful for all of you guys. You guys take it easy. Have a good one. All right. See you guys later.